We Google the weather, we Snapchat our friends, we Instagram our pictures, we friend and unfriend on Facebook, we table a discussion, we try to adult. We verb nouns every day, sometimes without realizing it. See what I did there? This phenomenon, also called verbification or backforming, has been around for centuries. Apparently, it's human nature to mess with language. But why do we Google answers instead of Yahoo them? And why can I say, Dr. Reed chairs the committee, and you won't institutionalize me for thinking our professor is an actual chair? Oh, and institutionalize is another backform verb, by the way. Well, to answer these questions and more, let's take a look at these normal roommates. See how many backform verbs you can spot in their conversation. Hey, Emma, do you know when Brown's last day of class is? Not off the top of my head. Did you Google it? I'm trying to. College websites are impossible to navigate. Here, I'll text Bonnie. She'll know. Hey girls, what's up? Trying to plan our summer trip. How would you feel about vacationing in London? Well, can't say no to that. Morning, everyone. What are you guys doing? Phoned Rupert earlier. Now I'm having a cup of tea. Would you like some? I've been working on a new song all morning, and I'm going to Skype Vanessa and play it for her later. Just bookmarked this great website of things to do in Europe over the summer. That's cool. Do you guys want a lunch soon? Did you catch all of the backformed verbs in their conversation? Let's start with the most obvious. Emma said, "Did you Google it?" We've all used Google as a verb, probably today, and we're all at least vaguely aware that it wasn't meant to be a verb. But slowly, or not so slowly, since Google was only founded in 1998, we've turned it into a verb that's synonymous with to search online for. And we're not the only people to do it. Google is one of the most popular nouns turned verbs, not only in America but across the world. According to a study by Adam Kilgariff, Google lends itself to linguistic study for 5 reasons. 1, it was a brand first, making it language independent. It doesn't come from one particular language or language family. 2, it's new. It hasn't been around long enough to change. 3, it's commonplace. Everyone from school children in India to British royalty know what Google is. 4, verbs allow linguists to study more morphology than nouns do. Most new words are nouns, so when a new word is a verb and it fits into all the above categories, linguists get really excited. And 5, Google is easy to pronounce and readily picks up accents and inflections. It's 2 syllables with round-sounding vowels and hard consonants, things that most languages have and can easily work with. Google was so explosive in the early 2000s that it was named the word of the decade in 2010 by the American Dialect Society. But why is Google the word for using a search engine? Google was good at its job at the time, and that solidified its monopoly on the search engine business. It was more effective at providing useful results than Yahoo was, and it existed before Bing did. In a lot of ways, it was just a matter of being at the right place at the right time and having a good marketing team, according to the article Among the New Words. Emma also says, "I'll text Bonnie," meaning that she'll send Bonnie a text message. This is another sentence you've probably used a variation of today. The noun text refers to written words, so it was natural to use this word to refer to the written messages sent between cell phones. Now look at "I'll text you" versus "I'll send you a text message." One takes significantly less time to say. This is America. Of course we want the shortest route from point A to point B, so the act of sending text messages became known as texting. According to a study by Nadeza Skostova, this way of creating verbs was the most popular method of backformation in the 20th century. Texting is a verb that describes the act of doing the noun. After Lynn comes in, Katie mentions the group vacationing in London over the summer. Vacationing falls into the same category of backformed verbs as texting does. In this case, vacationing is the act of taking a vacation. Adding ing to words is one easy way that we convert nouns into verbs today, but this wasn't always the case. Shakespeare coined over 1,000 new words, many of them verbs, using the 2 techniques described by David Crystal in his article, Verbing. The first is adding the prefix en. And jailed was used in the line, "Within my mouth you have enjailed my tongue," in Richard II. Shakespeare's purpose was much the same as ours is today. Brevity. "Within my mouth you have enjailed my tongue" sounds a lot better than "Within my mouth you've put my tongue in jail," and it fits better in verse. Shakespeare also used direct conversion, where he just used nouns as verbs without changing them, like the word portcullied, also from Richard II. Crystal explains that this is a way for Shakespeare and us to get the point across without using a simile that would muddy the verse and take away from the punchiness of the line. And when Meg asks, "What have you guys been up to?" that's when we see a lot of back formation, because apparently the roommates have been busy. Emma phoned Rupert, Lynn wrote a song and is going to Skype his wife, and Katie bookmarked a website. We've already seen how phone and bookmark probably became words. Stuskova did say it was the most popular method of backforming in the 20th century. But Skype is a little different. Skype is a company that allows users to do a very specific thing, video chatting, before which we had no easily accessible word for. There wasn't another way to say video chat other than video chat. Thus, when Skype came around and got popular, the act of using Skype software became known as Skyping, much as the act of using the Google search engine became known as Googling. And finally, the conversation ends with Sawyer asking if the group wants to lunch soon, the best question of the day. At first I thought it was a uniquely millennial trend to eliminate words like get and change the sentence, "Do you want to get lunch?" to "Do you want to lunch?" But we do it with other verbs too, like adulting, which usually means to do something boring, stressful, or professional, like laundry, scheduling a doctor's appointment, applying for jobs, getting married, or having kids. But after some research, maybe we're just taking after Shakespeare. Verbs like lunch and adult are direct conversions from their noun form. They certainly retain their punchiness without needing any excessive language. So does this make us illiterate, grammatically incorrect children, or a generation of bards? Millennials' impact on language has not gone unnoticed. In a Time article from 2016, Katie Steinmetz states that the verb adult was actually nominated for the 2015 Word of the Year by the American Dialect Society. Sometimes backforming is a product of culture. We're a more fast-paced society in 2017 than we were in 1217. We want to get our point across as quickly and clearly as possible, so we shorten phrases and we use nouns as verbs. And then sometimes backforming is the result of great marketing. Just look at Google. It's the poster child for a backformed noun. Yes, it's easy to see how backformation can be confusing, especially to a non-native speaker. But it's a feature of English that's been around from Shakespeare to Snapchat, and it's not going to slow down.